You feel like you got away with one today?
Let's start with the positives. Let's start with positives. I'm just in a positive mood because we won, and that was a great win because of how rough and poorly we played for a long time. That was a great win because of that, and for those guys to dig us out of that hole with, I don't know, was it 10 points with 6 to go? Is that about right? Maybe it was 10 points with 5 to go. I'm not exactly sure, but I know, you know, not just that score, but just the way we played. There was no spark to think, hey, any minute we're going to turn this thing. You know, it wasn't like I felt that. But that group, let's start with Zurich. I mean, his defensive presence, steals, awareness, toughness was a game changer without question. But all those guys, we were searching for 35 minutes a lineup that could guard. We couldn't guard them the whole night. They got whatever they want. They got wherever they want. If they threw it in the post, they shoot a layup. If they drove the ball, they just blow by us. I mean, no matter, they get a wide open three. It was bad. You know, we played poorly. We looked flat. And then Jalen dug in, and Emmanuel dug in, Kendrick dug in. Tristan took a huge charge. Everybody was scratching around, making it tough. Held them to 4 offensive rebounds. That was fantastic. At the other end, Jalen gets a huge offensive rebound. Emmanuel gets on the board. You know, that just the grit and the fight changed. You know, it was like somebody flipped a switch, and finally we could get the crowd in the game. Which, I mean, I don't blame them. You know, we got to do something to get them in the game, and we finally did, and they helped us win. You know, we needed that energy, but there was not much to cheer about for a good 33 minutes or so. So that's why I say it's a terrific win. I mean, it really is just a terrific win, but very disappointing on the other side of things. We've had 2 great practices the last 2 days, Friday and Saturday. We thought great practices. We were all about defense and rebounding, playing hard as could be. Thought we were going to make strides. We've played great defense for half of games this year. Amazing defense for 20 minutes. And we could say, we got to get to 40, you know. And we took a step back. We played 6 or 8 today. So that's concerning. You know, our sloppiness on offense was concerning. We had 12 turnovers. It felt like 20 to me because they were just sloppy. It was like, wow, they were making some just, I don't know what. But we were flat. We looked flat. At least I hope we were, even though we practiced our tail off. And to me, there's no excuse for the way we played up until the last. But again, on the positive side of things, those guys dug us out of a hole. This one goes down as a win. Hopefully we learn from it. Hopefully we're not going to be flat again. Hopefully we know that we have to play 40 minutes of those 6 or 7 or whatever that we played.
You referred to flipping a switch, and when Kendrick and Harrison got those matching technicals, you followed that with back-to-back 3-pointers by Bandamel. Kendrick drew the charge on the offensive end, and you took off from there. Was that the switch that flipped when Kendrick got in that guy's face?
I don't know. I'm going to give credit from the offensive standpoint. Obviously, Kendrick and Emmanuel were terrific on the offensive side of things. But you know, I don't know. Yeah, that helps certainly, and you know, again, that ignites the crowd a little bit. We finally get a little offense, but I think it's all the above, and I certainly don't want to say it's all that because I saw some guys digging in for a long period of time, not just that short burst. So yeah, those were great, big shots, big plays to get us right there. But it was sustained energy and fight and grit that pulled that game out.
Zurich said I asked him about his steals in 12 minutes or whatever it was. He had 5 steals. He sort of said he was growing into that role, and Emmanuel said he was being modest. Emmanuel said he does this in practice.
Yeah.
Did Zurich's performance today surprise you at all?
No, because he's a winner. I keep saying that. He's a freshman finding his way. Right now we're playing him at mostly the point guard position. Very difficult. He's got Kendrick, but I'm just telling you, he's a winner. He's made of all the right stuff. He's going to be an outstanding player. He's got a bright future. So truthfully, nothing he does surprises me. You know, offensively, things have not gone smooth for him yet. Totally understandable. They don't go smoothly for a lot of freshmen, particularly in November. Particularly playing a position that's, you know, he's got the ball in his hand, playing a lot of point guard. Now, you know, not at the end tonight, but I'm not concerned at all because I believe in him. And when he does something like that, I'm not surprised because I think that's what's in him. That's why he's been able to achieve and teams he's on win, and why he's always just going to go like that. He's made of the right stuff.
When you had your comeback or pulled away at the end, you did so with, I think it was 2 starters on the floor, and then you had Zurich, you had Jalen. Do you look and Tristan? Do you look at that as optimism about what you can get from your bench, or concern about what you got from your starters?
Definitely optimism from the bench, without question, because it's one thing to come in and play well with 14 and a half minutes to go in the game. It's a whole other deal to play down the stretch when the game's on the line. It's a whole other deal. You know, can you finish the game? Can you really do it when everyone's turned the dial up? I mean, close games, they heat up. They do. You know, or there's no casual in the last 4 minutes of a close game. And can you compete? You know, keep your head, keep your poise, keep your fight, keep your mistakes to a minimum. And so, to me, that was a huge positive. You know, on the other side of things, the starters, they'll play good minutes, and, you know, hopefully, you know, they'll learn from this for whatever, and then they'll bounce back. Definitely, next opponent is an outstanding team, and we will have to play, you know, a lot more good minutes than we did tonight.
When you go to the locker room trailing by 2 at halftime, was the discussion any tactical schematic change, or was it about intensity and effort?
A
and that kind
little,
of thing?
because we weren't at all executing what we had worked on. You know, I say this a lot. We've played, I don't know, it's just a barrage of games, and maybe it's just going to be this way the whole year, but some tricky offensive things. They do some very good things. They're very well coached. I've known their coach for years and years. It's not just simple, straightforward defense. They force you to do a lot of preparation, force you to do a lot of things you don't really practice just for a couple games. This is one of those kind of teams, and we prepared for 2 days. We got in the game, and so we're not even doing what we prepared. We're like, we forgot it all, and it wasn't. I mean, it's not simple, but it's not totally complicated. But the effort wasn't there either. You know, the flatness, I could feel the flatness just, you know, when they're just driving by you every single time they put their head down, you know you're flat. And so, to me, it was 80-some% being in the right mindset, and 20% maybe we weren't, you know, handling things as well as we could. And we made another adjustment later in the second half, I think, that did help, because there was one minor adjustment of how we directed the ball a little bit. But really, it was effort. You know, it was nothing's going to work schematically ever if the intensity level is not on ultra high. Never. There's no adjustment to be made in good college games when you know the intensity and the effort level is not at a 10.
You mentioned your next opponent, UNLV, is a good team. You need a better performance. Considering you win today by 7, you beat Sam Houston by 9. Emmanuel referred to today as a team that you should have beaten, and you did. Are you concerned at all about your players' confidence going into UNLV game?
Yeah, but I know this, you know, if competitors, you get confidence by competing. Competitors compete. And so, you know, you either get sad or you get mad. I've said this for you. You get sad or you get mad. And if you're not much of a competitor, you get sad and you kind of put your head down. And if you're a real warrior, then when things don't go well, you get mad. You know, you get real mad. And you come out the next time and got a whole another look on your face, and you got a whole other stance about you, and for some reason you're a lot lower to the ground and just got a little more quickness to you. So you know, if their confidence is down, then, you know, hey, you can't sprinkle dust on it. Confidence comes from succeeding. Confidence comes from, you know, lining up against somebody and whipping them. And that's where, you know, that's how you get it. And there's no, you can't buy it. You can't hand it off. You can't sprinkle it on somebody's head. You earn that.
You mentioned a lot of turning points, but what was the one where you got confident, where you were like, we're going to put this away?
I'd say when we're up 4, when there's .3, no, I wouldn't say that I don't know the exact point, but you know, when we did cut it to 2, I was confident that now, okay, this is gonna be a game finish. Because for a while, you know, we weren't sure we can get it to where it's a possession game at the end. That's kind of when, you know, when we did cut it to 2, maybe even 4, right then it was, okay, so now we've changed our energy, the building's changed, we're only down a possession or 2, we can win this game. But in no way, till the very end, do you get confident, because things happen. I mean, you see crazy, you know, what if, I think we were up 2, we had to inbound, we have to move the ball, and they're probably going to foul, and they do, and well, what if this, and what if that, right? What if they steal it, and what if they steal it and hit a 3, and what if we miss a free throw? I mean, a lot of things happen in the last minute there you don't control. You try to control them, but you can't. But I give our guys credit, you know, they handled it very well down the stretch, got fouled, you know, did what we had to do, slowed them up a little bit when we needed to slow them up, and made them take some tough shots, that kind of thing. But really, I say this to our guys all the time, because I've you know, done this forever. I watch other teams, and there's some human instinct or whatever that when you're in a tough competition, you can't wait for it to go, okay, now we've got it. I mean, there's some instinct in a human being like, okay, we're good now. And a lot of times, college players, they think it's way before it really is. And I tell our guys all the time, these games, I'll tell you when the game's over. I'll tell you when you can take a breath. Because I see it all the time. They'll celebrate. It's like, oh my gosh, we're up 7 with only 28 seconds to go. The game's not even close to over. It's not even close. There's so many things that could happen and go wrong and change it in 12 seconds. You could look up and like, oh my gosh. But when you've done this forever and you've been involved in 1,000 games, you've seen that. When you're a college player and you've never seen it, you know, when you're that age, you've maybe never seen that. You don't realize that the games, there's a lot more to come. And so I tell them that all the time. I'm not saying they listen, but I always I'll tell you when this game's done and we can go, okay, it's all good. But it's usually a lot later than they think.